What is going on, everybody? Happy Saturday to you. Hope you're enjoying just the beginning of the long weekend that we've got. You're watching Ravens Rundown. I'm your host, Joey Peterson, and today we are dipping into the mailbag. We got a special edition for you guys, but before we get into our first question, let's take a look. It's the last day of our AFC North August sub-battle, and we've made up a lot of ground over the past couple of weeks. We are only 14 subs away from passing Steelers Talk and winning this thing. Browns, they're in the dust. Bengals, we only got a 5-sub lead. So hit that subscribe button. It's the last day. Let's see if we can make up the deficit. I think we can do it, but I need your help. Go ahead, hit that subscribe button, and let's get into the first question on today's mailbag edition. That comes from Jarmo6355. What's going on, Jarmo? He asks, I think Derrick Henry will get 2,000 yards. Do you think so also? Well, Jarmo, I'm going to give you my one-word answer, and then I'll go into it for a little bit. First off, my one word, I don't think so. So, no. He's done it before in his career, 2020, 2,027 yards on 378 carries, 17 touchdowns, 5.4 yards per carry. But he hasn't done it since, hasn't really even gotten almost 500 yards from it since. I just think he's a little weathered down. He's a little bit older, and I think this offense with Mark Andrews, with Zay Flowers, with Isaiah Likely, with Rashad Bateman, with Lamar Jackson and his ability to run the football, I just don't know if there's enough yards in a season for Derrick Henry to get 2,000. I know on that team he was playing with A.J. Brown, who was a fantastic wide receiver, but still, I think he's a little bit older. I don't think the offensive line necessarily is, I don't want to say good enough, but I don't know if they're affordable enough to block for a 2,000-yard receiver. And I think he could get close. Like, I wouldn't be surprised if he gets 1,500 yards. I'd almost put $1,000 that he gets over 1,000 yards. 2,000 yards is a lot to ask from a guy who's at that stage in his career. It's only been done 8 times in the NFL as well. So I'm going to say no, but I do think that he gets easily over 1,000 yards. I'm going to set the line for 1,250. Does he get 1,250 yards this season? If you think yes, type O for over. If not, type U for under. I'm going with O. That's me personally. Let me know down in the comments section. Next up, from Faalele Harbaugh. Nice little play on word. Faalele Harbaugh, third brother to Jim and John, I hear. What do you think about the offensive line? I think it's incredibly weak. Well, Faalele, I don't disagree with you. When you look at this offensive line, I do disagree. I wouldn't say weak. I would just say young. I would just say unproven. You got Ronnie Stanley. He's a vet. But then you got Andrew Vorhees. He's going to be a first-year starter. Tyler Linderbaum, he's still young, but he's in his third year. Daniel Faalele, he's going to be a first-year starter. And Roger Rosengarten's in that rookie season. So I do think they're young. I don't necessarily think they're weak, though. I think a lot of Ravens fans over the past couple weeks have I don't want to say freaking out, but this has been such a topic of discussion and such a topic of panic when we don't really know. We haven't seen all 5 of these guys start together. And with Tyler Linderbaum dealing with injuries throughout training camp, they really haven't gotten that many reps together. I think there will be growing pains, and I encourage you to be patient with said growing pains because that's going to be a necessity over this football season. But I don't think they're weak necessarily. When you build offensive lines, it's so hard to just pick and pop and pick just different offensive linemen in the country or around the NFL and put them all together. And a lot of times you got to grow them from the start, right? You got to have these guys play a lot of football together. You got to draft them year after year after year. And the Ravens are just kind of in that reset mode where it's the beginning. And again, there will be some growing pains. I don't think that's a bad thing. It just might take some getting used to. So are they going to be the best offensive line in the league? No. Are they going to be the worst offensive line in the league? I don't think so either. But what do you guys think is the biggest weakness on this team? Do you think it's offensive line? I think that's probably going to be the biggest vote. Maybe defensive line, maybe pass rush. But you let me know down there in the comment section what the biggest weakness is on this Ravens team. Before we get into our last 2 questions on today's episode, I got to give a shout out to the sponsor of today's video, and that is Factor. Factor is the place to go because eating better is easy with Factor's delicious, ready-to-eat meals Every fresh, never frozen meal is chef crafted, dietitian approved, and ready to go in just 2 minutes. You have over 35 different options to choose from every week, including Calorie Smart, Protein Plus, and Keto. Also, there are more than 60 add-ons to help you stay fueled up and feeling good all day long. What are you waiting for? Get started today and get after your goals. Guys, I don't know about you guys, but I find myself constantly sitting at work and it's 3 p.m. and I realize, oh, I forgot to take the chicken out of the freezer. And then you kind of got to go, oh, do I have to go get takeout? Do I have to go eat unhealthy? Do I have to? And then I'm going to have to get home and wait for the chicken to thaw. It's going to be a whole big ordeal. Not with Factor. It takes 2 minutes for your food to go from fridge to your stomach. And that's what I love about it, because not only are they delicious, but they're good for you. They're healthy, and it is so easy. So head to factormeals.com/RavensChat50 and use code RavensChat50 to get 50% off your first box, plus 20% off your next month. That's code RavensChat50 at factormeals.com/RavensChat50 to get 50% off your first box plus 20% off your next month while your subscription is still active. The next question coming in from Addie Taylor. What's up, Addie? Who do you think will end up last in the AFC North? Well, if you go by just the sub-battle, it's the Bengals. I don't think that's how it's necessarily going to shake up, though. Let's look at last year's standings. Ravens atop, of course, 13-4. Browns went 11-6. Steelers 10-7, which is hilarious looking at last year and thinking they were a double-digit win team. I think that's just what Mike Tomlin does. And then Bengals 9-8. I would go Steelers. That's who I'm leaning toward. Now, if they do get Brandon Ayuk, I think that could be a different story. But if you look at just their offense as a whole, outside of George Pickens, I don't necessarily like anybody they have on their team with the ball in their hands. I think Najee Harris is good. I don't think he's great. I don't think they have any fantastic wide receivers. And I don't know if I necessarily believe in Russell Wilson or if I believe in Justin Fields either. I think both of them. I think Russell Wilson has passed his career. I think Justin Fields, if he wasn't as high of a draft pick, I don't think teams would be giving him as many shots as they have. And I don't know. I don't think that they're set up for a ton of success this year. I really don't. And so give me Steelers. And to round out the AFC North, I think it goes Ravens, Bengals, Browns, Steelers. That's my guess for this year. So who do you guys hate the most out of every team in the AFC North? Is it Pittsburgh? Is it Cleveland? Is it Cincy? I have a feeling it's going to be Pittsburgh. So if you think it's Pittsburgh, type Pitt in the comments. Type CLE if it's Cleveland, and type CIN if it's Cincinnati. Last question of the day. This comes from Tricks Are for Kids. Tricks are for kids, not, what was the end of that slogan? I don't remember. Good cereal, though. What is your favorite sports memory? Oh, that's a very nice question, Tricks. I would have to say I'm a very proud alum of the University of Tennessee. And my senior year, we beat Alabama at home, and it was the most epic night of my life. It was a game where the final score was 52-49. And so it was a high-scoring game, absolutely electric. I was on the 5th row, which was awesome. Stormed the field. My wife's sister was a freshman at the time. She actually broke her ankle trying to get on the field. But no, it was just such a fun night. And then one of those nights where you just like went home, and I lived with a bunch of guys in college, and we all were just like, oh, do you remember this part of the game? And just like we just relived the night all over again. And so beating Bama, the first time Tennessee beat Bama in 16 years, that was like maybe not just the greatest sports memory. That's a top 2 memory of my entire life. So that's easy. What about you guys? I'd love to know. You guys have been sports fans for a long time. You guys have been Ravens fans for a long time. What is your favorite sports memory? Let me know in the comment section down below. That'll be it for today's mailbag episode. Thank you guys so much for joining us. Again, we are so close to winning the AFC North sub battle. So hit that subscription or hit that subscribe button. And if you're already subscribed, send it to somebody you know isn't. Thanks so much for joining us. You guys have a fantastic Saturday.